Olá, bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite. Bem-vindos a outro podcast. Podcast 26. 26. I'm Carla Sabala. And again I have...
E eu sou o Marlon Sabala.
Yes.
Sou o marido.
Yes.
O esposo, não é?
Sim, marido, esposo, o homem.
O homem. Pronto,
The
tá,
man.
Então, diga lá, Dona Carla, este é o podcast
26.
Então,
26.
if you want all the dialogue, the notes and everything else that goes along with the podcast, then we would recommend you go to ptwithcarla.com/podcast 26. And this is the continuation from last week's scene.
In the plane.
Well, not last week. So last week we did a review.
The quiz. But
what's happening,
going
Carla?
back. So there's a situation in the plane, and we hope that we can help, or our characters can help. Let's see if they're able to. So for this scene, we have a guest. So it's not just Carla and Marlon on this podcast. Is Miguel Nascimento is with us.
Olá.
Olá, Miguel. Como estás?
Estou bem, obrigado.
Ótimo. Obrigada mais uma vez por te juntares a nós.
Ora é essa.
Thank you. So we're just saying thank you for him to joining us. And I think we should just go for the scene, right? So we have a captain.
Yeah, that's fine. So we have I think the scene starts with an announcement from the captain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Comandante em português.
Let's get started then. Senhores passageiros, daqui fala o vosso comandante José Maria dos Santos. Se há algum médico a bordo, pedimos a sua assistência na fila 3. Fila 3. Obrigado.
Consegues ver alguma coisa?
Nada. Tenho este careca à frente.
Espera, vem aqui um assistente de bordo, eu já lhe pergunto. Olhe, desculpe, o que é que se passa?
A senhora é médica?
Por acaso faço uma canja que é uma maravilha, cura tudo e mais alguma coisa. Mas médica não sou. Mas diga-me lá, está alguém em apuros?
Bom, é uma senhora lá à frente que está mal disposta.
Mal disposta? Então uma aspirina ou assim resolve a questão.
Sim, mas acho que nesta situação...
Olha, eu ouvi dizer que gengibre para as más disposições é tiro e queda.
Pois, a situação vai ficar resolvida em breve. Não se preocupe. Obrigado.
And that is that.
Okay.
Good.
How's that?
I think that was one.
Yeah, that was pretty good, wasn't it? Lovely. Right then, Miguel. Muito obrigada mais uma vez. So thank you once again for joining us.
Esperamos pelo próximo.
Ah, nice. Okay, so he's ready for another one. This is
Might
good.
be sooner than you expect, I guess.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right,
Miguel. Take care. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.
Let's translate the scene into English, shall we?
Yes, okay, so I am starting. I am the captain. Passengers, this is your captain speaking, José Maria dos Santos. If there's a doctor on board, we request your assistance in aisle 3. Aisle 3. Thank you.
Can you see anything? Can you see anything?
Nothing. I've got this baldy in front of me.
Hang on. There's a flight attendant coming. I'll ask him. Excuse me, what's going on?
Are you a doctor?
As a matter of fact, I make a chicken soup or a chicken broth that is wonderful. It cures everything and anything. But I'm not a doctor per se. But tell me, is there anybody in trouble?
Well, there's a lady in front that is indisposed. Indisposed?
That's you, yeah.
Yeah. Then an aspirin or something would do the trick.
And then he says, the flight attendant says...
Yes, but I think in this situation...
And I say, listen, I heard that ginger for someone who's indisposed is tiro e queda.
And then he finishes by saying, well, I think the situation will be sorted soon. Don't you worry. Thank you.
Okay, so tiro e queda will be not in the text word moments. So
Textbook.
you will... Yes, not in a textbook word moment or whatever. I
Yeah.
can't think of my words right now.
No worries. Okay, so I'm starting because I'm going to play the captain. As you probably realize by now, captain, when we say captain in Portuguese, we think boat. A commandant is really the one we would use for a plane, somebody who's flying a plane. So I start by saying senhores passageiros. What would you say, senhores? Dear passengers, really. Dear?
Yeah, was it just, would they in English just say gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen? They
Yeah,
wouldn't say
maybe.
passengers.
So senhores passageiros is a way of addressing all the passengers here.
Nicely.
And using the masculine version, senhores, referring to both men and women in that case. Okay, daqui fala, daqui, from here speaks your captain. Daqui fala vosso comandante. So let's do that bit. Vosso, vosso, vosso comandante. Daqui fala o vosso comandante. Senhores passageiros. Senhores passageiros. Daqui fala o vosso comandante. And then I give my name, which is a very common name, I guess. José Maria is actually a more associated. If it was just Maria, then there would be a very, very common female name. But José Maria is a male, sort of Maria is there. João Maria, José Maria.
Yeah, the second name is fairly popular.
Yeah. Okay, Dos Santos is also a very common surname. There we go. Or Silva is another one you'll hear a lot. Se há algum médico a bordo, if there's any doctor on board, pedimos a sua assistência. We request your assistance in aisle, really. Fila 3. So let's do that bit. It's quite a bit. 3, not 13, not 10, 3. T-R-E-S, 3. Na fila 3. Na fila 3. Fila, which Carla can, in this case we're using an aisle as aisle, but it can also mean
Queue.
a queue, yeah. Or you can even refer to as traffic when you see traffic ahead.
Yeah,
You're in
a line of cars, just a line of anything.
Yeah, fila. Ok. Pedimos a sua assistência. Pedimos there in the we ask. Pedimos a sua assistência. Na fila 3. And let's do the final bit there and repeat after me. A bordo. A bordo. Algum médico a bordo. The whole thing. Se há algum médico a bordo, pedimos a sua assistência na fila 3. Okay, and then I just say thank you. Obrigado.
Okay, and then I ask, are you able to see anything? Can you see anything? Consegues ver alguma coisa? Alguma coisa. Something or anything. Alguma coisa. Consegues ver? Can you see? Consegues ver? And that's a familiar can you see? If it's more formal, I would be asking consegue. Drop the S from consegues. Consegues ver alguma coisa? And once again, repeat after me. Consegues ver alguma coisa? Okay, next line.
Good. So I say nada, which you probably know. It's nothing. Okay, nada. Tenho este careca à frente. I've got this baldy in front of me.
And the reason why I thought it was okay to, leave this word in, it's only because you're going bald yourself.
Well,
So otherwise you would not be allowed.
Careca, but it can also mean...
Inappropriate.
Sorry?
Go ahead. No,
I was just saying you could say o careca, the baldy, but a careca. So just changing the article there, a careca refers to the baldness. Okay, so there's a very useful word there.
Sure.
Okay. Tenho este careca. I have this. Tenho este. Remember, I think we talked about this before. Este meaning this right here and near me. Este. If it was near Carla, I would say esse. And if it was somewhere else apart from or far from both of us, we would say aquele. Tenho este careca à frente. Okay. Good, Carla. Thanks you.
So then I say, espera, vem aqui assistente de bordo, eu já lhe pergunto. Hang on. Here comes a flight attendant. I'll ask him already. Olhe, desculpe, o que é que se passa? Excuse me, what's going on? What's the matter? So let's start off with the first line. Espera. Hang on, wait. Espera. Vem aqui. Here comes. Vem aqui. Assistente de bordo. Assistente de bordo. A flight attendant. Eu já lhe pergunto. Olhe, desculpe. And this phrase I think you've heard a few times if you've listened to previous podcasts. Olhe, desculpe. O que é que se passa? O que é que se passa? Or some might say, o que é que se passa? Once more, o que é que se passa? Right, flight attendant.
Yeah. So assistant de bordo, by the way, I think in the past we've used another word for this.
Hospedeira, but that's more linked to women, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay, you could
but we
say,
could still say hospedeiro for men, can't we?
And you could say hospedeira de bordo, or assistent de bordo, referring to her as well.
Yeah.
But it sounded a bit iffy when we were looking into creating this script to say hospedeiro. It just sounded unnatural.
Yeah, for a bloke, yeah.
I don't know if it's because like in the past, hospedeira, there would only be women that would be...
Yeah, that might be the reason.
Okay, so I say, well, the flight attendant asks Carla if she's a doctor. Because he doesn't know her name, he just uses a polite a senhora, that expression that you heard before.
The madam, the lady.
Yes.
Is a doctor.
A senhora é médica.
Is the madam, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is the madam a doctor? As if he's talking about some lady rather than to me. So we address people in the third person.
To create the formal.
Yeah, this is the most formal way of addressing someone.
Yeah.
A senhora or o senhor for a man.
Good. So médica, if it was a doctor male, it would be médico. Okay. So that's fairly easy to grasp. Now this you, Carla, again.
Yeah, long line there. Okay, let's go through this. Por acaso faço uma canja que é uma maravilha. As a matter of fact, I make a chicken broth or a chicken soup that is a wonder. It's wonderful. It's amazing. Cura tudo e mais alguma coisa. Tudo e mais alguma coisa, it's one of those not in a textbook moments that we've done in a previous podcast. And the equivalent translation or expression in English was everything but the kitchen, everything but the kitchen sink. But in this case, as I translated it earlier, that wouldn't fit right. It cures everything but the kitchen sink. So I didn't translate it that way. I just translated it cures everything and anything.
Yes, yeah. Just over and above.
Yeah, that's the point, isn't it? So, yes, and then I say, mas médica não sou. But doctor, I'm not. So a doctor per se, or a real doctor. Mas diga-me lá, but tell me then, está alguém em apuros? Is someone in trouble or struggling? So let's break this down. Por acaso, faço uma canja que é uma maravilha, Por acaso faço uma canja que é uma maravilha.
I guess we should add here, Carla, a bit of a cultural context. In Portugal, I don't think it's the case everywhere, but in Portugal, canja, or chicken soup or broth, as you say, has the reputation of being good for everything. So in some countries, it might be tea. Yeah. So if when I was young, I'm sure that was the case with you, Carla. If when you were a kid and you were sick for some reason, you were, I don't know, had a cold or something, your mother would have prepared canja. And for some reason, it does actually make you feel better. For some reason.
It's sort of comforting, isn't it? And it's light on your tummy as well. So a lot of people who'd been sick, literally, or vomiting, something light as a meal. That's what we would have, wouldn't it? Uma canjinha.
Yes, and it's hence when the chap, the flight attendant asked Carla if she was a doctor, she thought of, oh yeah, well, I do a chicken soup.
Yeah, I do cure my husband and a lot of relatives and friends maybe and neighbors with my canja. So yes, that's why I brought that up. Okay, so that's the first line of that line, or the first phrase. Then the second phrase, cura tudo, cura, cures, cura tudo e mais alguma coisa. Cura tudo e mais alguma coisa. And again, cura tudo e mais alguma coisa. Mas médica, não sou. Mas médica, não sou.
It's interesting how we use that. Just repeat the word to say, in reality or literally.
That's right, yeah. Mas diga-me lá. But tell me. Or tell me then. Mas diga-me lá. Mas diga-me lá. Está alguém. Once more for that one. Está alguém em apuros? Okay.
Apuros is you would also use if somebody, for example, if you saw somebody in a beach and they were flapping their hands around, sort of drowning, then you would say apuros. They're in trouble. They're in trouble. Yeah,
they're struggling.
Okay, so he says, realizing now that Carla is not a doctor at all, she doesn't really grasp the situation.
But still very polite.
He is very polite, as flight attendants tend to be. He says bon, which literally is good, but in this case is a pragmatic word that is really saying, well, in a way it's sort of like trying to ease the fact that he disagrees with your comments, with your attitude.
Yeah. Could also be a right.
Right, yeah. In this case, yeah. É uma senhora lá à frente. It's a lady there in front, as in front of the plane, that is indisposed, or I should say, when we say Maldisposter or Maldisposter, we often...
In front of the plane. Is that how you translate it? Does that make sense?
What?
Or at the front?
At the front of the plane? Yes, at the front. I was just saying, when you say Maldisposter or Maldisposter, at least in my mind, it conveys the idea of
Feeling sick.
Feeling sick. So think of
Unwell.
regurgitation of food eventually coming. Maldisposter, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
So you'd use that a lot when you go in the car and you start to feel sick because of the, all the terms.
Doesn't mean to say you're actually gonna be sick, but it's that feeling of being sick.
So let's
or
do that
feeling
bit.
unwell and not being able to put the finger on it.
Yes. Maldisposter.
Sorry.
Maldisposter.
The table's making some noises here.
Está mal disposta. Que está mal disposta.
Hang on, I just have to move something. It's just making too much noise. All right, I think this is it. Go ahead.
Right? Lá à frente, there in front, or at the front in this case, lá à frente, é uma senhora, it's a lady, é uma senhora. And the whole thing then, bom, é uma senhora lá à frente que está mal disposta. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's me again. So I say mal disposta. Então uma aspirina ou assim resolvia a questão. So mal disposta, I won't say that again. Então, so an aspirin or something. Assim is
something like it. Something like that.
Yeah, because literally assim is what would you translate that as? Assim, like this or like that.
Like it.
Like it, yeah. Então, uma aspirina ou assim, resolvia a questão.
Would resolve.
Would resolve the question.
The issue.
Or the issue in this case, literally the question, but yeah. Would sort it, basically, that's what I'm saying. Ou assim resolvia a questão. So the whole thing then, mal disposta, então uma aspirina ou assim resolvia a questão. And then he simply says, yes, but I think in this situation, and he was going to carry on, but Carla interrupts him. So he just says, sim, mas acho que nesta situação. Literally, you would say situation, but really, the more accurate translation would be in this case.
Yeah, or under these circumstances, or yeah, in this case.
Nesta situação. Mas acho que nesta situação. The whole thing again, sim. Mas acho que nesta situação.
Okay, and then I interrupt him, although I don't think he had much to say. He probably was trying to be polite without, he wanted to tell us that we weren't really helping the situation, but he couldn't really say it, could he? So fortunately for him, I suppose I interrupt. Ol. Again, this is an expression that does sound, when you translate into English, literally a little rude, but very, very normal for the Portuguese to use, not rude at all. It can be, I suppose, if there's a tone, but...
We're using the third person there again, which is the formal. If you say olha, then that could be a bit more...
But even in a formal way, you could be having an argument with a salesperson.
I can see that.
And have a tone. So, listen, I heard that ginger is good for indisposition, for those who are indisposed, for those who feel, for sickliness. I think you can say that. Yeah, I think you can say both.
Which, by the way, it's very accurate.
What's that?
If you're feeling sick, ginger is great.
Yeah.
So don't go ahead and
good
buy stuff from Boots or like, I don't know, if you're in America, maybe you have other pharmacies. Don't go and get other stuff. Just buy a bit of ginger.
I mean, don't. Maybe, okay, they try the ginger first, but not to say don't go.
Well, you're going to get chemicals into your body. Just try ginger. It's great. Now, I remember, who was it? I I love Mythbusters. They did a test. They bought loads of stuff from pharmacies. And in the end, ginger was the best.
All right.
And I can attest it.
So it's
great.
definitely worth a try. Very good. So let's do that line. Ouvi dizer. Olhe. Ouvi dizer. Ouvi dizer que gengibre. Ginger. Gengibre. Ouvi dizer que gengibre, para as más disposições, é tiro e queda. Are we going to have a moment here?
Oh, yeah, okay. Wait, no. I'm not ready.
Right. Okay.
I don't have
nice.
stuff in front of me. Well, it's okay. I'm going to try to do this from my own head because I haven't got my phone in front of me. So, let's do it. Tiro e queda. Literal meaning?
Shot and fall.
Colloquial meaning?
Something certain to happen or to have happened.
Right. What about an equivalent expression in English?
Works like a charm, or Bob's your uncle.
In context?
Do you remember that carpet stain remover you recommended? Foi tiro e queda.
So there you go. Another expression.
Indeed. Oh, lost my place here.
Tiro e queda, yes. So it just means really,
Together.
you know, it's works.
Certain to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be successful, isn't it?
Good.
Yes. One last line from the flight attendant.
Oh, it's for
Would
me
you
now.
like to do that?
Yes. I say pois, which is that useful word, just in agreement. Or if it's an awkward moment, you could say that too. Pois a situação vai ficar resolvida em breve. Não se preocupe. Obrigado. The issue is going to be sorted or resolved, literally, soon. Don't worry. Thank you. So, obrigado. Não se preocupe. Não se preocupe. Em breve. Em breve. Probably close to the word brief. I'm guessing the English word brief. So, very soon, in briefly, I don't know. Resolvida em breve. Vai ficar resolvida em breve. A situação, extend a bit more, a situação vai ficar resolvida. A situação vai ficar resolvida em breve. Não se preocupe. And can we do that once more and follow along with me? So don't just read after me, but read along with me. So you're doing some shadowing now. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, pois. A situação vai ficar resolvida em breve. Não se preocupe. Obrigado. And that's the end of it, but really that's what we always recommend, is that after you've done this along with us, then go on your own, and if you use the page where the podcast is posted, you'll have a loop of the audio just for the dialogue, so you can do shadowing, so you can read along with us, loud if you can. So
you don't have to try and find the place of the dialogue in the podcast, in the whole of the episode. You can just play the actual dialogue itself.
Yes.
Much easier. And you can play it over and over again, as many times as you need to become familiar with the words.
Indeed.
All right. Okay, this is a short one.
Is it?
Just over 30 minutes, I think.
They're about just 30 minutes
This
normally.
is pretty good. All right. So let's wrap this up, shall we?
Yes, I'm going to put the end jingle and we can say goodbye to everyone. And next week we'll have more.
Okay. Ciao, ciao, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Adieu.